Hello, White Witch 110 here. We are going to continue with the story Away from the Cabin. When he arrived home, he grabbed her blanket from his sofa and took it back to the gazebo. Scott threw it back into the bench. He stood there staring at the bay. Abigail was being such a child. A mass of thoughts whirled in his head. Once again, he wasn't sure. Was this averting another mistake among the thousands? Hi there. It was the fan from the cabin. Scott was far from feeling hospitable. Hi. He hoped she received the message. Mind if I join you? She was already by his side. Wouldn't matter, he quipped. You look like you need a friend to talk to. I'm here if you want. What's your name? He asked. Lisa, she answered. Lisa, I am perfectly fine, despite what you may believe. He inched his way from her. What did he need to say in order for her to leave him alone? The absolute last thing he needed was another fan romance in his life. It's a beautiful place, Lisa observed. Scott glanced at her. Yes, it is. Enjoy. And he walked away. There he found himself at the window. Leaning his arm against the frame, he asked himself, why does this need to be so hard? I loved the woman. As always, words had been said that stung, but he cared too much to hate the way that Abigail thought. It had been over a week. Abigail had kept to herself. She was back to the basic, or did that evade her so well? Going back to the office would still not be an option. She wanted no questions or opinions. It was her life and her mess. The only advantage to all was she dove into her work. Nicole had attempted to contact her, but she refused to answer the phone or the door when she came. Abby, her message began. We're cousins. Don't let him come between us. I'm sorry for my part. She accepted Nicole's apology, but refused to speak with any of the family. Lisa kept tabs on Scott's movements. She'd watch for hours waiting for him. She knew the time he got up, the time he left home, the time he came back, and when he went to bed. She wanted to be the next Mrs. Wilson. Lisa knew there were a few behind, but she would be the forever. She felt she had been intrusive the other day. It was time to back off. The thought of showing him off to her friends made her glow. Abigail had time to think on her response to Scott's music. Her head had been in the wrong place. Living away from the cabin actually made little difference. Finally, making her way back to work, Abigail realized this job was not for her. She didn't want to sit at a desk anymore. You can work from home, her uncle informed her. I'd hate for you to leave. You're so good with people. Maybe I'll think about it. It is nice to see everyone, she admitted. Listen, I heard what happened between you and Nicole. I'd rather not talk about it, Abigail told her uncle. Well, I want to. I don't like seeing you girls like this. I appreciate why she does the things she does. But I'm not a useless child. I can handle my life. I don't need her to butt in. I don't butt into her marriage. True. She's never liked Scott's treatment of you, he pointed out. I had no right to react to Scott like I did. He's right. He had a life before me. Of course, he'd always have songs about other women in his life. Respectfully, you all need to stay out of my business. Unless I ask for help, I don't need it. Abigail's voice pleaded. You'd go back, wouldn't you? Yes, in a split second. He's supposed to be in my life. She held tears back. But it never lasts, her uncle said. I know, but someday it will, she assured him. When? You've lost so much time. If this is going to work, to be serious about it. That's the only way. Abigail spent the remainder of the day opening open files. It had been a positive year for the mansion. Uncle Rob, I'm sorry for being so curt earlier. Hey, I understand. Don't worry. Just remember we love you. They hugged. Scott decided to make his way home. He knew Lisa was watching from one of the windows. She was an attractive young woman. She seemed pleasant enough. Maybe he would give her a chance. He changed direction, going to the cabin. He knocked on the door. Scott, Lisa smiled. Come in. Would you like a drink? Sure. He then chastised himself. Would you like a beer? She offered. Sounds good. He took a seat on the sofa. Immediately, memories came to him. What was he doing? His mind was on Abigail. I shouldn't be here. Scott put down the beer and got up. Come on, Scott, relax. Lisa placed her hand on his chest. This was her moment. She needed to grab it. Stay. Her lips moved towards his. A connection was made. It felt so wrong, but Scott went with his urges, even though she was the wrong woman. He would deal with the guilt later. In the morning, it was there, the guilt right in his face. Scott sat up, looked behind him. It wasn't Abigail. He knew that last night. The fiery passion hadn't been there. He made himself at home, grabbed a quick shower before dressing and walking across to his apartment. Lisa woke with a smile, turning toward an empty space. Scott! She called out. Lisa made her way downstairs. The cabin was empty. She was upset, but memories of him in her bed made her smile. Lisa was ready to keep the wheels moving. Scott was racking his brain as to how to get out of this. He didn't want a relationship, at least not with her. Abigail had received a phone call from a friend in Toronto. Sage was coming west. He'd be in Vancouver at week's end. It'd be great to see you. It's been so long. She offered up her spare room, which he gladly accepted. There was a new spring to her step the remainder of the week. Finally, something to look forward to. This was a part of her life that had nothing to do with her family. They didn't know Sage, and this felt like freedom for her. The relationship with Nicole was still very rocky. This was her life. She needed to work through it. When will they learn? Abigail kept her friend's visit to herself. It was late Friday when Sage drove up to the tiny house. Sage! Abigail ran out her front door. She threw her arms around him. It's been forever. I'm so glad you're here. And she truly was. I miss you back home. He took an honest look at her. Any chance you'll come back? They took his couple of bags inside to the spare room. And that's it for this evening. I will continue this tomorrow with the next part. I hope you all are having a great day. My day was eventful, as you may have seen my video previous to this. If you haven't, please check it out. It was crazy, terrifying. Thank you to my YouTube family for being here. Greatly appreciated as always. You all mean a lot to me. And I'd like to welcome Cindy to the family now. Great to have you here. Cindy's Place, great channel. Please check her out. Anybody new to my channel, please feel free to check out any of my other videos. If you find something that you like, give it a thumbs up. Drop me a comment. And share it out if you think anyone else would be interested. While you're here, consider becoming a subscriber. If you do, remember to click that notification bell so that you'll know the next time that I upload. And as always, until that time, ciao for now.